everybody. This is the Jedi. And I just first want to say, express a moment of gratitude just for life, you know. We always, most of us, we don't contemplate the preciousness of life, the fragility, the delicateness, yet the perfection of life, the complexity of life, the mastery, the miracle that is life. Just to go, seems so simple. You know, one of the things that I learned when I was in a wheelchair for just over a year, and I'm one of the most thoughtful and gratitude-filled, empathetic people and sympathetic people that I know on the earth. But yet, that taught me that there was still another level of that, a deeper layer of understanding and appreciation. And, you know, I mentioned something in my last piece when I said we are just an explosion of energy at a particular place in time, each one of us being spiritual beings. By the way, I had no idea I was going to say any of this, everybody. No idea. I know what I came to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to say, but this was nowhere in my thought process. It's just coming to me now. That we are just that, explosions of energy at a particular place in time, a miracle indeed. When you think about time is something I contemplate so much. And many years ago, I let go of time. You know, it used to be that, you know, if I was lucky enough to get home early enough, I'd swear that I'm going to watch The Late Show with Jay Leno. Couldn't get to the monologue. Couldn't get to the monologue, and I'd wake up, it'd be the next day. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I think even my dad might have still been living even in part of this. I can't remember. But I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't get to the monologue. I'm like, Anyway, now it's the opposite. I can't sleep. And I wonder if part of that is because of what I'm trying to express to you now. That at some point I let go of time. Because we're fixed on a clock and a schedule and, you know, what time do I have to do this? What time do I have to do? What time? I'm over it. I think there was one night, it seems like 2012 or 13 or something. And I just thought, I don't need to go to bed. I don't need to. Or if I'd wake up in the middle of the night, I'd go, well, I'm just going to get up and do something. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why do I have to go back to sleep? Oh, you got to go back to sleep. Why do I have to? I have one journey through life, one arc, I always tell you. From the womb of your mother to the cradle of the earth. You have one journey. And so many of us don't know how much time we have. No, nobody knows. You know, I contemplated for a moment when they were doing the memorial of Kobe Bryant. Beautiful memorial, by the way. Good to see black men crying also. I love that. I love that. Let that be a lesson to all brothers under the sound of my voice. As you guys know, I cry at everything. I never apologize for my tears. I'm a whole person. I'm a whole human. And I don't allow boundaries on my emotion, or my expression of myself. I don't allow it. As long as it's not contrived and it's authentic and it's from my soul, then that's all that matters. But it was good to see black men crying. But I mention it because it sometimes feels like, and I'm a Muslim, and we know way more than non-Muslims about life and death. You don't have to like that, that's the truth. But it's not exclusive to us. You can know it too. But sadly, you're not going to, if you don't expose yourself to the source, you won't know. A lot of people have been to Niagara Falls. A lot of people can just talk about it. Some people don't even believe it exists. Whatever. I've been to Niagara Falls. I know it's there. Alright, fine. But we know a lot about life and death because the divine has taught us and told us. I always tell you I'm a student of the one who made me. And you can probably tell I've been crying if you look at me. Especially those of you guys that have been with me for a while. I just don't have one of those faces. Like Michelle Obama, she could swallow her own tears. Her eyes could well up and no tear would ever fall. That's just one example. We all know people. And I'm just like, who are these people who can cry and their eyes don't swell up, they don't get red, they don't get, how is that? I can't. Anyway. But it causes even me to question. Kobe was 41 years old. And 40 is the year of enlightenment. It's known in many cultures around the earth. And I say cultures because there's no culture in this country. You see, this is not, white people don't have culture. They just have ways and habits of evil and domination and hate and ruling and all that kind of, there's no culture, you see. They don't have a song, they don't have a dance, they don't have a food, they don't have a God. I told you that they're not in any of the books they're not in the Torah, they're not in the Quran, they're not in the Bible. No prophet or book has ever been sent to them. They don't have a way of life, you see. So those things all are culture. Language is part of culture as well. None of these things they possess. So this is their nation, so they don't have any of those things. But I mention that because this is something you would never hear as a part of the common knowledge in this country. When someone says to you, when you know that somebody's 40, you say, "Oh, you're in your year of enlightenment." You would never hear that. But there's many places where the moment they know that, that's the next thing they'll say to you. It's the very next thing they'll say. The divine has also signaled this to us. Because if we believe the story of the prophet Isa, Jesus, alayhi salam, he was in the desert for 40 days. Moses was 40 years old when he began to receive revelation and become a prophet. So was the prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. 40 is a very significant number, everybody. And I used to have a list, but I've lost it. I literally was keeping a list. The number 40 was all over Obama. All over him. All over him. Everything was 40. Everything was 40. From this year to this was 40 years. And this to this. And it was I'm telling you, everything was 40. Anyway, Kobe was 41. So, we can almost say, well, he was 41, he had a very successful life, and so it's very sad that he passed away. But his daughter, and that's what even causes me to question, you see. And yes, we are allowed to question the one who created us, everybody. Yes. Yes, you question the one who created you. A, because that's where all the answers are, and B, that's the one that created you. Period. And I always tell you, all knowledge and knowing at any moment in time is with the divine. You don't know anything, not even your name. Nothing do you know unless Allah allows you to know it. Period. So I question. So it's one thing Kobe leaves, but his daughter is with him. And that makes me question the whole meaning of life, even if for a moment. You know, you could almost see it if she slipped away in her sleep, or something less violent. You know, and then I extrapolate further. You know, I've shared this with you. You know, it just seems like people that have the worst intentions and that are the least pure and exact the most evil on the earth seem to be the most successful. Like, why don't they just die off? You know? Why can't Air Force One go into a mountain at full speed? Somebody else I was contemplating, and I go, they fly private. How come their jet can't go down? Just a lot of people need to die off. That's really what I'm trying to say. But it's always the wrong people, it seems, that are dying. I just don't know what to think. I just don't. I'm grateful to the divine for every breath that I'm given. And I'm ever mindful that this is a short existence, everybody. I've told you that a million times. I don't know how many of you guys hear that and take it really to heart. But this is so temporary. That we have evidence of. We know that to be true. And I live for the hereafter. You know, everything that I do, I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of that. Anyways, I want to start lightening it up a little bit. But, anyways, I saw the memorial that they had of Kobe. I even appreciated that it was kind of brief. You know, it wasn't like this 3-5 hour thing drawn out with a bunch of... I'm glad they didn't do that. You know, it wasn't necessary, and sometimes less is more. You know, it was very beautiful. I had never really sort of saw his wife. I don't think I ever heard her voice, ever. Because why would I? I'm not a sports fan. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't seek her out. So I heard her voice even for the first time. And, what a special human being Kobe was. Especially when, who was it that spoke? I think it was a white guy. And he was saying that Kobe wanted to learn this Beethoven piece to play for his wife, and that he learned it, and then first he played it for him on the phone. It was just a portion of it, but it was, oh my God, but it wasn't done. And then he played later when he got it very short, in a short amount of time, he played the whole thing for him over the phone. And I just thought, wow, I can really appreciate that because I played piano. And I just think back all those years ago when I first learned piano, because I wanted to play I started playing violin, and my violin teacher said that I have to be able to play piano because you tune your violin to the piano, you know. And little did she, you know, she obviously wasn't aware, and maybe my parents didn't really articulate this, or maybe it just wasn't on their mind at the time. But I have a natural ear, I do. My father played guitar professionally. I just, if I hear it, I can mimic it. That's done. Done. That's it. So it was necessary because I needed to know the names of notes. What is an E? What is it? What is a flat? What is an F? What's a sharp note? All those things. So, um, it's a lot, but just that he took that on just for that, and to take Beethoven. Oh my God. I don't care who you are. You don't just sit down and play Beethoven. You just don't do that unless you're very serious. So it told me a lot about him. It told me a lot. But I'm also someone who knows how things can get lost in translation, because most people don't know how they're not as emotional as me and as detailed. When I tell you a story, I'm telling you the moving parts. Like, that's exactly what happened. Most of humanity shorthands it or translates it some kind of way. I hate that. That's one of the things I despise on the earth. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. Like, I want to know exactly, as if I was there, what happened, or who, or about the person, or whatever it was. I think that's why most of my life, if I tell you about somebody, I usually start talking like that person. Like, I'll even take their voice and start speaking like them. I've just always done that. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. And I'm backed up by the divine. Allah says to us in the Quran, Aqulu qawlan sadida. You see? Say what is. Say what is. Speak and say what is. Aqulu qawlan sadida. But, anyways, it was beautiful. As I say, Michael Jordan, I said in my brief live stream, you guys, and I'm going to try and do more of those. But, I said to you that, Michael Jordan looks just like one of my brother-in-laws. It's him. It's literally, that's what my brother-in-law Jim looks like. That's him. One day, years ago, when Oprah still had her show, she had Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley on her show that day. And Michael Jordan said, I literally called my brother-in-law, I go, you're on TV, man. You're on TV. I mean, we'd already told him a million, you look like, everybody tells him that he looks like Michael Jordan. But it was just, I hadn't seen Michael Jordan on anything speaking in, I don't remember. And so there he was, and it was just like, I couldn't focus on him because he looked so much like my brother-in-law. It's him. It's him. It's him. It's him. It's him. Anyways, I don't want to take too much time on that. It was very beautiful. And also very sad. Obviously, Alicia Keys is everything. And as I said in my short live stream, she, I love that all of the violinists and the cello and the I forget all the pieces of the orchestra they had up there were all Africans. And even the conductor was a brother with locks, giving it its due respect to Beethoven. Yes, who was a black man. Thank you very much. Let us understand this. Beethoven was a black man, everybody. He just was. He just was. Go and listen to Beethoven. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. Any Beethoven. Especially if you're someone who, I'm not even qualified like that. Just listen to it. The intricacy of the melodies from the various movements, and you, just that alone, you know that's not somebody that's not African. It must have been an African. It must have been. Because why Beethoven is so one of the greats is because his music is so dramatic and so moving. And all music is born out of emotion, whether it is symphonic or whether it is song. There must be emotion. What is it? And so we know just from his music, this was an African person. Period. The damn end. I don't want to get off into that. Anyways, it was beautiful, and God love Alicia for it. All right. I also want to randomly say a shout out to Jada Frazier. You are beautiful, and I love you. You are a queen. That's my YouTube baby sister, everybody. Impressive young woman. Wow. A real star. A real star. A real star. Many of you that have been with me and used to follow my show reviews when I used to do them, I would threaten you into going over and making sure you subscribe to my baby sister's, my YouTube baby sister's channel, and to check her out. Everything I do comes from the heart. So I started calling her that because she really is so much like me. With her humor and everything, especially. But she's really something. I love you, Jada. I love you. I love you. And I'm just excited to, first of all, I'm honored to know you, and I'm excited to witness your life. To witness your life. But don't forget the things I told you, especially the last time we spoke. Yeah. Anyways, also I want to shout out Reynaldo Wayne. Reynaldo, I love you, and I thank you for your loyalty and for your consistency and for your belief and support and for your humanity. You know, there are those among you who have been around with me through shutdown channels and have found me and all those things. I'm deeply grateful to all of you, but certainly Reynaldo is one of those people. And one of the most frustrating things about doing this, being on this platform, everybody, is I would love to know all of you guys personally. Like, you know, that has always frustrated me. You know, I guess to the newer generation, which this is all they know, it's not awkward to them. Like, if they have 30 million followers on Instagram, they believe those people all love them and all that. And I'm just like, I don't know any of those people. You know, like, it's just, I'm a up close and in person type person, you know. You can't eat what you can't see, right? You know, it's kind of in that same category. So, anyways, big shout out to Reynaldo Wayne. I also want to Baby Genie, shout out to you, a new subscriber, Baby Genie. And thank you in advance. You were asking for the link for the fundraiser. God bless you for that in advance. Thank you so much. Khalifa of the Most High, my brother. Khalifa is another one, you all, who has been around forever with me. And is another frustration because we've never met and all those things. But there's some picking up on what I just spoke about not being able to see you guys and be close and all that stuff. But yet, there are some of you who there really is I feel your energy in the universe, you know. I feel you. I feel you. I just do. I just do. And Khalifa is one of these people, you know, it's kind of like, I told you guys one of my followers traveled to come see me, And it was beautiful because, well, this probably isn't the best example because we had Skyped and we've spoken on the phone and we've been very much in contact, so, and have made it a purposeful thing in our lives to be connected, you know. So that's not the best example. Diva Queen Lopez, Empress de Aquibulan, mi sobrenombre es mi canalita, is a very good example, because whenever we first spoke, it was like breathing, you know. It's like breathing, but she's one who's been down with me forever. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, you know, or Pam, oh God, Kara Watkins, of course. Kara, stop typing. Names always escape me. I'm really bad with names in every segment of my life. Just know that. But anyway, you take my meaning, though, I pray. Sunshine, I must shout you out. That's another one that's been out with me forever, too. Very much. I love you, Sunshine. And many blessings to you as well. I want to, I'm going to come back to those, you guys, because what I really want to start with is this season that we're in, because I want to move into lighter stuff, but I must speak on this because I'm really kind of worked up over it, you know. This is a season of revelation for us. I almost said for me, but indeed it's a season of revelation for us. But it's not surprising for me, but I'm highlighting it for you. And that is, you know, every time you want to take a barometer of where we are as a people, watch what we do publicly. Whether it's music, whether it's radio, whether it's social media, if it's television, whatever. You can take a barometer of where we are, or at least where the perception of us is. Stay with me. What I mean by that is somehow the class of the haves amongst African people is starkly and distinctly different than the have-nots. That those who can sit in the front row at the NAACP Awards, or be nominated, or be on stage, or be in a movie, or they're in something, they are not there. It's almost like they've all taken an oath. You know, I told you many years ago and showed you and brought you the evidence with Cynthia McKinney that you can't be a part of any political structure in this country, from mayor to city council to governor to senator to congressperson, nothing, unless you sign your ass to fake ass, Zionist ass, devilish ass Israel. You must. And so, I believe that there are African people that are taking some kind of pledge that is on par or the equivalent thereof. Here you had the NAACP Awards, and nobody just outright says, look, black people, we need to be voting for Bernie Sanders because most of our bitch asses don't have health care. Our women are the ones that are having the most trouble and the highest death rates when they give birth to our black asses. And they're usually not covered unless they're on welfare or something. And that really doesn't even cover a whole bunch of stuff. Nobody said anything. How long was that show on? An hour? 2 hours? Nobody said anything about firmly who they support for president. Or made a demand or made a speech that put everybody on notice. While white people, all they're talking about is the fucking black vote. But you put on this show live, so it's not like it was taped and oh my god, that was months ago and now it's just airing and so there was not an opportunity. You're live, bitches. You're live. I am so sick and tired of our people missing opportunities. And we don't have the luxury of ambiguity like fucking white people do. We just don't have it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? We don't have that. You need to say affirmatively. You understand? Because like Dante, or Dr. King was quoting Dante when he said, the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in a time of moral crisis maintain their neutrality. And I pray they all burn in hell. That is my prayer to the divine from here to eternity. I mean that. I mean that from my soul. But likewise, you have now all these black-ass, coon-ass black people popping up out of the woodwork to stand behind white people who have done us the fuck wrong. There's no way a door should be open for Joe Biden to go anywhere when many of our brothers and sisters still languish in prison cells behind his fucking crime bill that he wrote in the 1990s. You understand? He didn't just vote for it, he wrote the bitch. He is also on record. You can go and watch the audio, or the video, I should say, of him saying he's tried more than 4 times to get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and every fucking thing else. It's his words. Many of these programs that many of us never would have been able to exist had they not existed. My grandmother, the queen of my entire existence, subsisted on a Social Security check. When my father was out touring and traveling around, she was raising us on a Social Security check. 9 kids. Well, 8 because my half-sister wasn't born. Do you understand? That's just one example. But your black asses will go into this neutral place as if all the fucking history hasn't happened and the shit isn't still going on. Like you have the luxury of having somebody just waltz into your fucking house of death and you're gonna, we don't know and we're undecided and fuck you. You deserve death just like they do. Meanwhile, I always tell you, you want to hide something, put it right out in the open. We never see them talking to any Chinese or Asian groups. Hadn't seen anything, no talk of it even. What about the Asian vote? What are they going to do? How do you get those Asians? We never hear it. You never hear. How are we going to get those Indians? I'm talking about the ones from India. We never hear about it. How are we going to get the Muslim vote? You never hear it. How are we going to get the Samoans? You never hear it. Keep going. But they're talking about your black ass. And they always make sure they mention Latinos. Show me now Latinos' lives matter. Where there's such an epidemic of killing them that they needed a movement. I'm happy to be wrong. I always tell you. A wise man always wants to gather knowledge and is always happy to admit when he's wrong. Alright? So, and this is no slight to them. And not to say they haven't had any suffering. Their biggest issue now is staying here and coming here. You understand? Meanwhile, they're passing us up by leaps and bounds. They have industry. They have industry and business and unity, and we don't. You understand? We don't have that. And they are one. I don't see them on TV talking about, we're not monolithic like your black asses do. I don't see it from Latinos. Don't see it. They understand as a people, this is what we need, and so they go for that. That's it. I watched the town halls, and by the way, isn't it interesting in a town hall, you have to stand up and read your own fucking question? How many thousands of videos have I done since I've been on this platform since 2014? And how many times have I had a fucking note? You can't just ask a question from your heart, but everybody is on fucking Senator so-and-so. If you're so-and-so, What would you... I don't need to read my own damn question. It's my question. Or is it? I'm over it. I'm over it. But there you have, it's always some fat white bitch that wears glasses and a neck so big you can't even tell where it begins and ends, that's undecided. She's undecided. She's undecided. But she could sit her fat ass down and eat up the entire house and indeed the entire neighborhood. But she's undecided. Undecided. When I hear that word, I trigger. Because the only way you're undecided is A, you don't know what the fuck you need. How don't you know what you need in life? How don't you know that? It's one thing if you have like melanoma or something or some disease and you don't know you have it. You didn't know. But I'm talking about just your necessities of life, your day-to-day survival. You don't know what you need? That's the starting point. So you're telling me when you say undecided, I don't know what the fuck I need, which means you don't know who you are, which means you need to sit your fat ass down to begin with. And so therefore, if you don't know what you need, then you can't come up with a candidate. Or you have every fucking thing. And this is just like fucking picking, you know, a burger with cheese and one without. Or one with Swiss and one with American. I'm just so undecided. You see? Don't give me undecided. Especially when there's a little device called a cell phone now. Where anything you want to know, you can punch it up. You don't have to get to no town hall, stand your fat ass up and say, I'm undecided. You can say, White Alpha, such and so, what is such and such and such and such? Done. What is so-and-so's position on such and such? Done. In seconds. Don't give me undecided. Undecided is uneducated. You understand? That's what it is. And unmotivated. And sit your fat ass down. And while I'm tangenting about town halls, and reading your question and being a fat ass white bitch undecided, where they find the most we don't have no ugly black folks. I told you that. We just don't. I even took a second look at Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav is not an ugly man. I rescind everything negative I've ever said about Flavor Flav. Respectful of. I mean that though. We don't have no ugly black folks. We just don't. But alas, there can be some peculiar looking ones. Ones that you're not really sure. You don't really know. Won't really know. Anyway, I've seen some black people stand at these town halls. I'm like, sit your ass down. Because I'm always in the space of protection over us, you know? And anytime I see anything that looks like it's like you making us look, then if I'm there in person, I'm going to get up and snatch you down. Like, I have done that and I will do that. I will do that. And whatever consequence I have to suffer after the fact, I have and will suffer it. Because some shit just, you have to put a stop to it. You just, goddamn it, do. You just do. I would say the only thing needed for evil men to succeed is for good men to do nothing. That's a true quote. That quote is the truth. It really is the truth. It really... Okay, I don't know what happened. Anyways, that is the truth. So, if I need to snatch people down, I do it. Because why do you exist? You know, like, why do you exist? Why? Why? Why do you exist? Why? Why? So I'm over it. But, anyways, there they are in South Carolina. And, I'll digress back to say, you know, when all they're talking about on the damn TV is the black vote, the black vote, the black vote. And then you have old-ass James Clyburn, which we got to be over these old-ass black people. Their old Christian asses need to die off. If they can't get in line, they need to die off. Die off. Die off. Die off. Because most of them have been bought off. You understand? Anytime you can have a black man on national television speaking up for a gay white candidate, that's a problem, black people. That's a problem. That's a problem. Why is it a problem, Jedi? Because, A, I have said and I will continue to maintain, even though we know we have gay people amongst us, and I have argued that this white devil has come up with some way to make you that in the womb. And then you manifest and suddenly you proclaim yourself that. I don't believe that that is what Allah is creating. Because the divine, I'm a student of the one who created me. That does not exist anywhere in nature. Nothing in nature does that. Nothing. Nothing. Hear this. Nothing in nature does that. Allah says, I will show you everything. I will show you my signs in my creation. I always told you, creation is not for decoration, everybody. It's for information. You should ponder everything. The dirt, the rock, the ant, the spider, the fly, the flower, the tree, the air, the dust, the water, everything. You should be going, what does that mean? The sun rises in the east. Why? Sets in the west. Why? The moon. Why? These are all signs. Why is there bark on that tree? Why is that flower yellow? Why do the bees do what they do? Why? I mean, everything in creation is the divine speaking to you. Speaking to you. Literally speaking to you. But you've taken it as decoration. Because like NASA, you have no way of life. No way of life. Hear this. No way of life. So nothing in creation does that. So when it's not in nature, then we say if man is doing it, then it must be an aberration. Because animals go to the bathroom, so do we. So we know that, well, that's nature. Well, animals mate, and so do we. So well, that's nature. If we didn't see them mating, we go, well, why aren't they mating? What's going on? You see? Information. So we don't see anything in nature expressing this behavior. We don't see locusts going, I'm actually an anaconda. You see? Or coming up with all these alphabets and shit. Nature does exactly what Allah has designed. It submits to what Allah has ordained for it. You see? So, we don't disparage our black brothers and sisters who are afflicted with this hex. That's fine. What I'm saying is, we have always kept that in-house. There is no African country even that celebrates. There's 54 African countries. And many of them dwarf this entire fucking country. And it's not ever given status like they want to give it here. So, as I've maintained and will continue to maintain, it is anti-African. It just is. It is anti-African. It's anti-African. That's first. Secondly, as black men, we are the gatekeepers, really, or should be the gatekeepers of our culture. We're riding the ass of our black women so much that you've turned into the women now. And less than the woman, really, because she's stronger and more equipped than you. So you're just a bitch, is what black men are. You're just a bitch, because you're not leading anything. You are not, what do you call it? You're not, curating is the word I want. You're not curating the culture. What does that look like, Jedi? Well, what that looks like is there were no black men on TV publicly supporting a white gay man. A black gay man, we can talk about it. And that depends on where his mind would be. So we certainly wouldn't be supporting Miss Donna Lemon in her Versace and Louboutin heels. We just wouldn't be doing that. But we would be supporting him because he is a black man and because his mind is in the right place. We don't really care what he does in his bedroom. You see what I'm saying? Because he could be a straight man and still be freakier than we don't know what. That's another video. Alright, but I'm just saying. But to be supporting a white gay man who's not offering you anything, whose record in his own tiny little city is very hushed. They don't. When you go online and you watch what the black people in his own fucking city that he used to be mayor of, this isn't getting out because they don't want it to get out. He is exactly what we know he is, a white devil racist, period. Look at him. He looks like one of those cops that they somehow can't indict. He walks like it, he sounds like it, he talks like it, it's him, he's that. I don't give a fuck that he's gay on top of it. That's means nothing. He's clearly a racist. And always, 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 my people, I always tell you, you have to study these people. Always be wary of anybody who has the I know something you don't know smile on their face when they're talking to you all the time. When it's not even called for. Watch him. It's very difficult. I'm not being funny right now. It's very difficult for me to watch him because of what the divine allows me to see. I know what he really is. I know what he really is. That ain't it, homie. That ain't it. And it don't have shit to do with him being gay. I don't give a fuck. Because he means nothing to my culture. He's not producing black babies. I don't care what he does. I'm saying he is a white devil of the worst kind. And we have receipts for it. Receipts. I hate the fuck out that dude. I cannot stand him. I cannot. He is a deceptive devil. That's what he is. I see it. And what makes me so sick about black people is that your sensors have all just been turned off. There he was, and I'm going to put up pictures now, because this I have to show. There he was, walking up and being hugged in a black church. Remember, I did a video sometime back. I don't know if it was on one of my shutdown channels or if it's on this channel. I don't remember. I said to you, you think they're going to let him walk up into a black church with his boyfriend in tow? They will. I said those words. Here are my receipts now. Stop the video when I lie. I said this. And those of you who remember that video and me proclaiming that, I want you to testify in the comments. Please don't hold back. Please testify that you heard me say that. I said it. I said it would happen. And it has come to pass. I saw, and I didn't see like some little sissy boys on CNN and MSNBC. I saw football-looking black dudes up on fucking MSNBC and CNN talking about Mayor Pete is the dude. Black men, many of you are not my brothers. Many of you are not my brothers. I always tell you, all skin folk and kinfolk, everybody. And brothers are displaying their assholes literally in a way that is so, I don't even have words to express it to you. Black men. It's some sisters popping out here and there that are fucking us around. And I'm with Bloomberg and the bullshit. But the majority of what I've been seeing is black men. sick. There was a black man who was the head of Malcolm's security, who made sure the stand-down order was in place the day he was assassinated. A black man. And recently, on Democracy Now!, they were showing clips from this new Netflix, which I will never see because I don't have Netflix, because I'm a black man, a real king, willing to make the sacrifice for my culture and my people as an individual on principle, and because I have self-control and self-restraint. That's what makes me a king, and I sit high on my throne, and many of you can't come near me because you are bitches. And one of you, as they were illustrating in this, they were showing clips on Democracy Now! From this Who Killed Malcolm X. And which I knew this. I had brought this to you before. I've brought you pieces over the years. But I brought this. But this guy that had the white newspaper in his pocket, because it's all black and white film, how he just skates out of the frame. That's the dude that had the shotgun. Meanwhile, the fucker who was supposed to have been the head of his security, remember, even to this day, the FOI stands in front of the stage. They're looking at your ass when you're sitting in the crowd. You're looking up at Malcolm. They're looking at you. But they were never called. He was never called. Never called, never questioned. Seems to me he would have looked right at the dude that shot Malcolm, since he was standing right down in front of him. But my point is, yet again, it was black men. You will, sisters, understand this. You don't know no straight black men. You don't know any. I'm going to say it again to my sisters. You don't know any straight black men. And they don't exist. Because they will huff and puff to a point until a white boy shows up and shows them a little bit of money, and they will bend over. Literally and figuratively. I mean that shit. That's the truth. That's the truth. It's not a nigga in this fucking country whose ass can't be bought. We see it. We see it. We see it. We see it. While they bitched and complained that the Oscars were so white, but there was Chris Rock, one of the first people to come out. Why are you anywhere at a show where people are complaining it's not black enough? This is what I don't understand about y'all Christian black folks. You understand? I don't. And to my sisters, if you ever going to find you a real king, a man who stands in principle and conviction, it's not going to come from a Christian man. It's not. It's not. Their track record, we have the receipts on. Because anybody I could ever talk about is going to be a Christian. None of them are Muslims. None. None. But Jedi, you just said the Nation of Islam. You just talked about Malcolm. Those aren't Muslims. I already told you, Nation of Islam are not Muslim. They're not. They're glorified Christian people. God love them. But they're not Muslims. So their character is much like yours. In so many ways. They're probably a little bit better because there's the discipline component, and plus there's the FOI, and there's some things, but they're Christians. You know, you can always tell a Muslim woman from a Nation of Islam woman. Our women cover and look so beautiful. Like if you see a Muslim woman who's covered as a man, and you don't feel like you just need to bow to her, I can't help you. I really don't know if there's anything I could talk to you about. But the Nation of Islam woman always has a bunch of makeup on, probably some false lashes, and her scarf is back here, and her hair is all out. You're not a Muslim. You're not. You're not. It's because it's either do or do not. It's that I'm kind of, you know. Do or don't. Do or don't. I'm over it. So, we don't have any men of conviction. We just don't. We just don't. You know, our unity must be one, everybody. You don't get to act as an individual. You must always be acting as a group in everything you do individually. You must be thinking group. You must. Well, I can't. Well, I always tell you, if you want something you never had, you gotta do shit you never did. Everything that has been done and is being done up to this very moment that I speak is absolutely the wrong thing. I've said this a million times. Every single bit of it is wrong. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. And if we're going to, I'm jumping around, but I'm trying to stay a little consistent. When we look at even the Nevada caucus primary that went on Saturday, how is it that Latinos can be so sure about what they want to do? Meanwhile, by the way, they were going to Latino unions and things like that. Your bitch ass, they come to a church. You see how pathetic you are? We are, by extension, we. Because as evolved as I might want to think I am, I'm still you. I'm still you. That's why I exist here on this platform. Because those who are not are these very ones I'm talking about. All the ones you saw going up there getting their little awards at the NAACP, you'll never see them on here doing any of this because they're evolved and they don't. You see, there was Janelle Monáe opening up the Oscars. By the way, killed it. The choreography was something of merit. It really was fantastic. Wow. I can appreciate it from every angle. As a dancer, as a choreographer, as a musician, she killed it. That performance was everything. But why was her bitch ass there? In a sea of white people. Why was she there? Why? Because Christian folks, Christian black folks don't have a way of life. And you define yourself by what N.A.A.C.P wants. And you make me sick. You don't have the courage to just shut shit down by just saying, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not. I'm just not. I'm just not. It's a sad state of affairs. But I digress. How is it, unless what I'm saying is the truth, and it is, because there used to be a time when Latinos and black people were like this. We understood that we had the same struggle. But they had unity. And we were still so obsessed with being with N.A.A.C.P. And the more you can be with N.A.A.C.P, the less you need to be with your brother and your sister. I went through this in my own very life, you guys. I want to share this with you. My sister, that's 1 year older than me, and she really does look like Jabba the Hutt. I'm not making that up. I experienced this from a very young age with her. And testifying to what I'm saying, there was a time when me and my dad were, many years ago, my dad and I, we were having it out, or we were talking about something, and he was saying he thought me and her were the closest siblings, because we were the last two at home. And I go, no. And then I named my other sister that I was actually the closest to. But you would have thought me and my sister's 1 year older than me would be the closest. I couldn't hate him for that. You would think we would be. But she was exactly this on a micro level in my life. I loved my sister so much, as I do with anybody that I love. And she always cast me to the curb, and not just like gently and like on purpose and forcefully for her fucking white friends, especially her white friends. Fuck her, that bitch. I said it. But she is a microcosm of what I see and my people as a whole. I'm someone who's fiercely loyal to everybody. Like, as much as I cannot stand the fuck out of Donald Trump, I always tell you, the truth is the only thing that's important to me on the earth. And one thing I do like is his sense of loyalty. I don't care if it's him, if it's the next door neighbor, if it's the bitch down the street. I respect loyalty and the the, the requisite of loyalty from anyone. You know, to me, that's even more strength of character that I see in a person, because I'm that. Because I know what my worth is as a human being to anyone who I allow to be in my presence. And so, I'm fiercely loyal. No one has to ask me for my loyalty. I give it. Once I've identified you're worthy, which you wouldn't be in my orbit if you weren't, then you have my loyalty. That's it. I got you. I got you. But God damn it, you better have me. You better. You better. I demand it. Because I don't give what I don't get. And I don't ask for what I'm not willing to give. I understand that. You see? So, I love, in a way, that he is going down and, like, fucking death darting people that weren't loyal. I still can't say this bitch ass, and I hope Air Force One goes down. But I respect that. Like, your ass wasn't loyal, fuck you, that bitch too, that bitch. Because as loyal as I am, I'm also very vengeful. But I love to let stuff stew. The best way to get revenge on any of your enemies is to just let them think you forgot and everything is good, and then you strike. I'm very good at that. And I get that from my father, too, in a way, because sometimes I'm off the... I don't care, I'm off subject. I'm still on subject, but I gotta tell this. My father... Wow. Allahu Akbar. But my dad, when I was little... 26 years old, Kara Watkins. Stop typing! I never did anything real bad, y'all. I was a good kid. I was a Christ child. I was. But I wasn't perfect, so there's sometimes I do things I didn't know, and then I get in trouble, and then I gotta get an ass whooping. So there would be times when my father would be like, when I know I'm supposed to get an ass whooping. Particularly one time, I don't remember what my infraction was, but I thought, I'll show him. I put on every pair of underwear that I owned. Wallahi. Wallah. That's the truth. I put on every pair of underwear that I owned, everybody. Because I thought, I got this. You know. And I was ready. So when he hit me with that belt, I'm going to be good, you know. And then he didn't get me. And I built up for it, and I'm ready for the ass whooping. And it didn't come. It was probably a month later, boy. Sir, get your ass in here. I forgot about the ass whooping. Bad. And he got me. But I take that just to share with you that that's how I am about vengeance when it comes to anyone who goes against me purposefully. Like, you can make this mistake all day long, you know, and that's an opportunity to correct you and teach you how to treat me, you know. But you willfully go against me and you know who I am already, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. And you won't know the hour or the moment, but I'm coming for you. Trust and believe. I'm coming for you. But anyway, so we saw this on display with not just with the Oscars, but with the but I'm trying to leap from the Nevada thing to the NAACP. So what we saw was they're talking about how Bernie got crushed it with the Latino vote, just crushed it. And oh, by the way, when their executives came out claiming that the executives of the workers of the culinary union, the leadership came out saying, trying to make it seem like Bernie had insulted them, and that he had they weren't for Medicare for all, and this and a third. Well, those Latino workers said, fuck y'all, and they still went and voted for Bernie, homie. But your black ass will get up and say you're undecided, and then you will go and vote your bitch ass in South Carolina for Joe Biden. Because you are a pathetic ass people who cannot think for yourself because you have no God and you have no way of life. Period, the damn end. That's why. Shouldn't matter that James Clyburn gets on fucking TV and says he's fucking endorsing Joe Biden. Think how sick you would have to be. Listen, what this is like you come into a Mike Tyson fight in the last round. The other guy is laying on the mat, and you go, I'm putting my money on the guy on the mat. Dumb ass. This is that. Because Joe Biden came in fucking last in Iowa, last or fifth in fucking New Hampshire. He was a disaster in New Hampshire or Nevada. Why would you suddenly now vote for him when nobody's voting for him? That should tell you something. Something. Then you add a dose of the 94 crime bill that he authored. Why are you voting for this man? For what? So it shouldn't matter what James Clyburn comes out and says, or any of these other fake-ass, up-the-ass motherfuckers that are up on Capitol Hill. James Clyburn says that he's so old, he fake bitch, and fake die your bitch ass off, and so I have to South Carolina, and pork eating fuck, and bitch, and die off. Die off. Die off. Isaiah Cummings died off. The other one, he died right behind him. Die off. James Clyburn needs to die off. Die off. And black people need to wake up and come out of those damn houses of death that you call a church. Die off. Die off. Die off. But they will take their ass, just like they let this Pete Buttigieg sashay into their church. And there was black people standing up at the town hall tonight talking about, so-and-so is one of your supporters. And I go, don't show me. And then it's a fucking blackface in South Carolina, where this guy is polling single digits. And isn't going to give you a damn thing. And is a white man. Yet here's Bernie Sanders, got the entire world behind him. And has actually been saying the same shit for a billion years. And is actually meaning to do the shit he's saying. Finally, first of all, and can do it, but no. I'm for Mayor Pete. No, you want Mayor Pete is what you want, homie. That's what you want. You want you some Pete. That's what you want. Let us be clear. Let us be clear. Let us be clear. Let us be clear. I'm over it. I'm over it. So, anyways, last thing I want to say about politics is this, because I'm going to be talking a lot about politics, obviously, because we're in a political cycle, and I obviously have strong feelings. I've said to my people, forget all this undecided bullshit. It's like I gave you the example of the fat white bitch wearing glasses that always stands up talking she's undecided. In any town hall, in any city, any fucking election year, it's the fat white bitch with the glasses standing up talking she's undecided. Well, you don't have that. So, you don't get to stand up and ask questions. What are you going to do to end racial justice, injustice, and fuck all of that? When you run in to rob a fucking bank, you get the bills that you can get and you run out that bitch. You're not, can I get the ones that's iron and crease? You get your shit and get your shit. That's what you do. So that's why we have to understand this. That's what Latinos are doing. But when the national and international spotlight is on you saying the black vote, the black vote, the black vote, that's what I said. That's when you coalesce and say, savor the moment. Black folks, what do we want? Let's make our demands now. Let us make our demands. But when you have disjointed shit, when you got the fucking Black Lives Matter with all their LGBT, they're just a fucking gay group. when you have them over there and the NAACP wasn't done a fucking thing for you ever, try to call the NAACP. Just call them one day. Just try and call them. Just try and call them. I have. Just try and call them. See what you get. Just try and call them. I don't want to influence you. You just call them. Just look up the NAACP and call them and report back. Just you do it. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have them over there and the Urban League doing something else, and ACLU and nobody is doing one thing. And because black men are bitches, I couldn't get any of my brothers to stand up when I, for years, was trying to get the Black Independence Liberation League off the ground. My sisters was all over it. Jedi, I'm ready. Wait, sisters, wait. This is the one time we don't need us. We should never. But this is not going to be another one of them times where we have our sisters on the front line. I'm not going to allow it. That's not the place for our women. You heard me bitch about when every time we see a march after one of us been killed, is whole families out there. No. Women and children, take your bitch ass home. Brothers, bring your bitch asses out. That's the image that goes around the world. Black men marching and fucking tearing shit up if we need to. That's what the image should be. But you got to have your girl with you and the kids. You see? Black men are bitches. Period. The end. And based on what I saw at the NAACP Awards, I'm even more right every single moment that I sit here and speak. Oh, there they were in their little tight, dainty suits and all of it. They're just tight. You see? I don't know any men, y'all. Let me think. I'm being real. I'm being serious now. Let me think of somebody. I go, that's a man right there. That's a man. Who is it? I have to come back to it. I'll have to come back to it. I'm trying to think of anybody that I go, that's a man. That's a man. Because to me, one of the things that is requisite for me to say that another brother is a man is I want to feel some sense of reverence about you. Excuse me, and admiration. Like, that's, wow, that brother really is, you know. I need to feel that. And I only feel that by what I see you do and say. And I don't see any brothers in the public eye, in television, in music, in politics, or anywhere that I could even anoint the title to. I'm really trying to think, y'all. I'll come back to it. I will. I'll be fair about it. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. I can't. Anyways. My overall assessment of the NAACP Awards, it was like a high school play. You know, it was a lot of hype and build up, and then there wasn't really anything that delivered. You know, there was no memorable performances. I do think that what's his name? Marley. It's one of Bob Marley's sons. Oh man, his name just went out of my head. Anyways, I feel something about him. Like I feel like I'm witnessing his father's spirit and appeal. You know, I wasn't alive when Bob Marley was living, and I never saw him or anything like that, but we all know Bob Marley, right? And I saw this kid, and I thought, that must have been Bob Marley's appeal. He has a piety. I've never heard him speak. I saw him twice. He's went on my radar, because once he was on, I think, Jimmy Fallon, and then just right after that, few days later, boom, there he is on the NAACP Awards. And he has a piety about him. And there's something about him. I feel his spirit, y'all, now. Damn it, I do. And I just thought, that must have been what... That's Bob Marley's seed. That's got to be something. Bob Marley was young at one time. I don't right now remember how old Bob Marley was when he died, but that has to be it. I was actually drawn in by this kid, you know. He was performing with her, the chick Her. And both times, because the first time I saw my Jimmy Fallon, I thought, wow, wait a minute now. And maybe it was just a one-off, you know. So when they said Her is performing and they mentioned his name, it almost came to me. Then I was like, let me see if I'm going to see that again. And there it was again. There's something, like, I don't want to say this out loud. I feel like he's gonna die young. There, I said it. That's from the universe. That's not from me. I can't explain that to you. I can't explain that to you, but I feel like that because I'm not able to put that in words for you. But I've seen that, it feels like, or I felt it, or something, you know. Allah says to us that there was a time before we were, that we were. And I'm not going to get too deep on that, but there's a time that we were before we were born, and each one of us made the decision to come to Earth. I'll do a video about it. But it's from that, you know, I've told you guys I'm clairvoyant, I have a sixth sense, and I feel energy. That's for real. And so what I just said to you just came out of me right now. I'm just telling you, I feel that. Because I've felt and seen that before some kind of way. But was it before I was, or since I was? I don't know. Interesting that I started out earlier talking about time. But, anyways, I pray Allah that he has a long life, but there's something over his spirit that says differently to me, you know. It's powerful, you know. I tell you guys, I'm so much about humanity. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm moving to Africa, so I can have real humanity. Humanity. I don't know if you really understand what I mean a lot of times when I'm saying that. Because you haven't seen it, you know. But humanity. 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 And, wow. Anyways, I prayed, but I really felt something powerful when I saw him, and I never knew him before. I know that Bob Marley had sons, and one of them, I know, he did the thing a few years ago with India Irie, a queen who I love. Especially that song, Ready for Love. Oh, kill me now. I'm done. I've heard it all. I can go. I love that song with everything. I love that so much. Anyway, she did, it's not really called Redemption Song, but everybody knows it as Redemption Song, so I just call it that. She did Redemption Song with Ziggy Marley. They did like an acoustic thing, and it was fantastic. But this kid I never saw. I didn't know he existed, and I felt something very powerful, and I just shared that with you. But anyways, I also loved the moment between someone who was one of my new favorite people on earth, and that's Sterling K. Brown. I only know him. I've never watched a movie he was in. I just love him, dude. My sister, we briefly used to watch, back when I had OWN, they used to have this show called Black Love. I think it's called Black Love. And sometimes me and my sister, we would be on the phone, we watch stuff on the phone, you know. And she's knows everything about everything, but the bitch can never get around to watching a single YouTube video I've ever done. But you can call her up right now and she knows every latest thing on the fucking internet except what her own brother has done. Don't get me started. Not gonna get worked up. But anyways, of course, she's the one who told me who he was, because I was enchanted with him and his wife. I was like, I love them. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Because he was very funny, and you could tell he was getting on his wife's nerve. I just loved the dynamic and the energy between them, but it was everything. And I just, anyway, but that's how I know who he is and whatever. But they had a beautiful moment on stage where they were threatening to go into a full-on, you know, love-making on stage or something, which I thought was fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, that was his wife. It was. Yeah, it was his wife. And Anthony Anderson, I can't. He did a great job of posting, but something that last suit at the end, I don't know what those lapels were doing. It looked so retro to me. I can't. I can't. I can't. Yara Shahidi, everybody, behold. That young queen. Yara Shahidi. She's everything. Whew. Before you even get to her beauty, that's too obvious. Forget that. She's stunning. Forget that. This young lady, I'm honored to live at the same time as her. That's how powerful she is. She's so poised and so smart and so intelligent. Deep. Wow, she's everything. I love her so much. I love her. I love her. Yara Shahidi. Wow, she's a force. She is an event. She's an event. Just go online and watch anything of her doing any interview. She's so well-rounded, so grounded. Her head's in the right place culturally. I love her. I love her. She never went up on the stage, but I love her to death. I just love her. Angela Bassett is divinity in motion. What a graceful woman. She is, you just see her wisdom. I'm one of these people, like, when I love to sit with people that are smarter than me. It's one of my favorite things to do. Just sit with people that are smarter and older and just let it all come out. Because they know stuff. And sometimes if they're not older, they don't have to be like really old. Just they've had more life experience than you. They've seen more and done more. And Angela represents all of that. She's from the South, you know. I love her, dude. I love her. I love her. Wow. Anyway, she looked divine and she was fantastic and all of it. People are escaping me. And I know it's somebody sitting there going, you don't remember so-and-so Jedi? Excuse me. Because you guys know I don't do notes and all that stuff. I don't prepare. I just, like, I know what I'm going to talk about, and the universe will tell me what I'm going to say. I do want to say this. I was very hard on Lizzo. I wasn't hard on her. I was fair on Lizzo in my last video. And properly so. Well, Lizzo must have heard my video. Because she covered up at the NAACP Awards. She covered up. She covered up. Alright. Alright, she didn't necessarily cover all the way up. Her arms were out. But she didn't look embarrassing to the culture. You know. And as I said in the previous time, I'll say it again because it's the truth. She is a beautiful woman. And she has the cutest smile I'm ever going to see. It's so cute. Those little rabbit teeth she has, the way Allah has made her teeth, I love that. I love it, I love it. It gives her a certain je ne sais quoi, you know? I love that. But that's no need to be sloppy and all of that, you know? And she was the last award of the night, I think Entertainer of the Year, but this is what really jacked me up. I loved it, and it jacked me up at the same time. First of all, I love Rihanna. That's my Pisces sister. And I knew it was something that I was vibing with Rihanna from the time I knew who she was. I'm like, there's something about this female. There's something about her. Then I would hear how they say she responds to different things online, and I'm like, something about her is me. Something about her. Something. She's from Barbados. I'm not. You know, but she's African, so what, you know. But anyways, she's a Pisces, homie. That's my Pisces sister. Understand that. And so, when the president of the NAACP was introducing her, he said she was the greatest entertainer of our time and of all time. I had to be rushed from my house, put in a helicopter, airlifted to the local hospital, and put on a ventilator and watched closely by a team of specialists. And when they showed Rihanna in the audience, you could tell she was like, that's some bullshit. Like, a little too far there, bruh. That can't be allowed. Because there was a man who existed by the name of Michael Joseph Jackson. The greatest entertainer the world has ever seen, and the most famous human being ever recorded in human history. There is no one greater that has come to earth that has been more famous than Michael Jackson. Rihanna will tell you that. That said, I was astonished, but not really surprised, because like I said, I feel my energy in her, all the philanthropy stuff that she's done, and the branding and all that she's done. I mean, this is an accomplished young woman. This is why we're not seeing her falling out of clubs, and she's not on TMZ every 5 minutes, and, you know, Rihanna is fucking working, bitches, is what she's doing. And I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her, and like I say, I really do see portions of myself in her, you know? I just, is it because we're Pisces? I don't know. But I just know when I feel myself in somebody, in another human being. Doesn't matter who they are. When I feel myself there, I feel myself. I feel myself. I feel my presence some kind of way there. And I know I just understand her in a way that I can't really explain, really, I guess. Anyway, she was fantastic. Her speech was amazing. And I was very impressed with her accomplishments and all the things that she is doing and has done across the earth. I do wish that more of our people who have all these millions of dollars would have foundations and schools and shit that they build in here. You understand? And grants and foundations and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. Everybody feels like they got to go to Africa, which you should, but you can walk and chew gum at the same time. That's what I say. It's always like the wrong people are dying. The wrong people have money also. You understand? It's the wrong people. The wrong people are getting money. The wrong people. The wrong people are getting money. It's the wrong people. It's the wrong people. You let me get some money. Oh my God. It will be a new day for African people. A new day. A new day. And I would be honored and proud. I just think we're far enough along now, everybody, where we don't really need nobody doing the shit for us. You know, we occupy every department of this fucking country. We've even been the president and first lady of this bitch. We are the ones holding us back. We have to start fucking getting to these damn black ass gatekeepers and shutting them the fuck down. That's what it's gonna take. That's what it's going to take. Shutting their asses down, literally and figuratively. Do you understand what I'm telling you right now? Do you understand? I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I wanted to make sure that I talk about Dewayne Wade and Gabriel Union's son. I've already spoken about the anti-Africanness of this, at least promoting this whole gay agenda thing, you know, while not disparaging our family members, because I told you guys I have gay people in my family. And, you know, there's this recent picture that I'll show you now. Now that's all fine and dandy, but in my mind, I see grown-ass adults who have to buy his fucking food, who buy his clothes, who buy all the shit he's wearing, and all of that. So we're not saying your child can't be who they are. I'm not. I'm saying you are who the fuck I tell you when you're under my roof, because that's how I was raised. You spread your wings when you get out of my fucking house. Then you fly how you want to. Under this roof, this is the shit we do. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. And I turned out just fantastic. But all this rights and shit, and you can be a fucking butterfly and all this shit when you're 5 and you haven't even... He doesn't even have any hair on his genitals yet. What they say, he's 12. He's barely coming into puberty when his voice is going to start changing and all this. You don't know anything about life. If you can't spell urethra, sit your bitch ass down. I'm getting worked up. But there they were. And we're celebrating. I'm not celebrating. Because if he was drinking alcohol, we would say, well, look, his parents are giving him alcohol. He's not old enough to drink. Well, look. Oh, look, they're buying him cigarettes. There they are letting him... He's smoking pot. The parents are buying it for him. And they would condemn it. Well, they're giving him the keys to the car. He's 12 years old. We wouldn't allow it. pop up and be a butterfly. And they start buying him all these clothes for little girls. And he's now lecturing all of humanity on just be yourself and all this when he can't even spell most words in the English vernacular. I'm saying there's a time. There's a time. And what I'm also saying is that there's an agenda. White people are deliberately doing this younger and younger. You understand? Here is someone who probably... here's the question I want to sit down and ask Dewayne and fucking Gabriel, but particularly Dewayne. Dewayne, did you ever discuss erections with little whatever his fucking name is already? Did you ever have that talk with him? Did you ever have the talk? I know the answer is no, I hadn't. It got skipped to this. I bet you anything. I bet you anything. Anything you want to wager. I proclaim. I know it to be the truth. You see? So he didn't get to the talk. He never got there. But you've allowed this? And I'm saying you can't allow it. Just you tell any children only do what you let them do, everybody. That's why when I see badass kids, I want to punch parents. Because kids are only doing what the shit you let them do. That's it. That's it. You're not enough of a person yet. The brain doesn't even fully develop until age 25. Excuse me. He can't know who or what he is right now. That same kid we're supposed to celebrate, ask him, tell me how to balance a checkbook. He won't be able to do it. Tell me how many countries there are in Africa. He can't tell me. Tell me who's the president of even one country in Africa. Tell me what's the circumference of their... I mean, I could throw pop quizzes. Who's the vice president? Who's third in line to be president if the president is killed? Who's third in line? Junior, or whatever his fucking name is. He won't know. My point is, if you can't answer certain questions, you're not ready to proclaim yourself a fucking thing. Even when they have this transgender stuff, when they gonna have surgery, they go through a whole psychological thing to see, does your ass know this, this, and this before we can just go and change you to a man or a woman. So I'm saying the same standard here. Junior doesn't get to proclaim himself, I'm a transgender, or I'm a woman, or whatever the fuck he's saying he is, or a pixie. He doesn't get to say any of that if he can't meet certain standards. You can't. Because kids are fickle by nature. They're fickle. Today they're one thing, the next day they're something else. One day they got an invisible friend, the next day they don't. Today they're G.I. Joe, tomorrow they're Superman. No shade to him. It's on Gabriel and fucking Dewayne. They need to be dragged behind a fucking car. You understand what I'm telling you? Moving no less than 90 miles an hour. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't celebrate the shit. If he was 18 and he's articulating, I'd be like, okay, well, good for you, young man. That's fine. That's fine. Or 21. Okay, fine. That's fine. Don't give me 10, 12. Don't. Sit your ass down. Get your shit. Listen, my nephew just turned 18. And he's still a disaster. I know what his capacity is. And he's a smart kid. But I can also see his limitations just simply because of his youth. So I'm in a position to be able to say, without even knowing their kid personally, he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything yet. He's too young to know anything about anything about anything. Do you understand what I'm telling you? What did I say? Oh, his hair was in braids and barrettes. And I spoke this. which I'm sure he did not braid his own hair, nor did he buy the barrettes. You see? I'm over it. And in a related story, Wendy, Miss How You Doing? This kills me. This is right up there with, when they wanted to bitch about Beyonce lip syncing at the inaugural. Like, who under my voice doesn't know that Beyonce can absolutely fucking sing? Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know that? That's like these Christians that go around, do you know Christ? Like, as if no one's seen this fake thing of this prophet. I can't. Anyway, this is right up there because she is Miss Gay everything. Her hairstyles are gay. She's very gay friendly, and she looks like a man, and she could be, and just it's a whole thing. But anyway, by the way, are there any pictures of her pregnant? I just thought about that. Do we have any pictures of Wendy Williams pregnant? Anyone? If you know that intel, please let us know in the comments. Anyways, but I appreciate it. She said what I feel as a man. I always, and I've articulated it on some level, but as having a sense of protection over our women, I just feel like I would have, if I was a woman, I would, just like I feel as an African person, like, don't be trying to act like you black, like you not, and don't, you're encroaching on space that you're not, like, get your bitch, you take your shit. So I feel like that for women, like, are you cool with dudes twisting and popping around you, and miss and girl, and this and that? Like, if I was a woman, I'd be like, you're not a fucking woman. Like, because, here with this place that this come from, everybody. This is not to be played with. Women are the vessel of life. Do you understand? They have a special place with the divine. Surah Al-Nisa in the Quran, the women. There's a whole chapter of the women in the book on earth, the Quran. I always say to black women, Allah is not playing about you. He is not playing about you. Not playing. That women have so acquiesced their place and purpose that you would let some male that was literally given birth to by another woman, another vessel, twist and pop up to you, talk about girl and I'm miss. Sit your bitch ass down. Because like Wendy said, you don't have menses. You don't have our cramps, and she went down the list. But they don't give life either. And until you can give life, sit your bitch ass down. Or find another title. Period. That's how I feel about it. I'm over it. But it was a scandal. Because she, being a woman, we'll allow it. She, being a woman, asserted herself as I think all women should be doing. Whatever their stripe. Women should say to gay men, you're gay, that's fine, but you're not a woman. It stops right here, because I'm the authentic article. Just like I don't allow nobody that ain't black trying to step into this lane. Whoa, I'm the article. Step your bitch ass back. Step. I always tell you, you don't let anybody encroach on you when you're the genuine it. Go try and sell a Picasso or a Renoir or something like that to some museum, and it's not the thing. They'll be, this is an imposter. They'll call the cops on you. I'm over it. I'm over it. No. Fine, you're gay. That's fine. That's fine. That's between you and God. But now, you're doing something else now when you start encroaching on women. And she said, stop wearing our skirts, stop wearing our high heels, stop it, fucking stop it. And y'all know I cannot stand the very sight of her bitch ass. But I will tell you, the truth is the only thing that's important. We don't care what the source. This was truth. Period. Just was. Still cannot stand the fuck out of Wendy. Hope the bitch croaks and dies tomorrow. But we celebrate that truth. We're only concerned about the truth. The truth must be paramount in life. It must be. It must be. I've been trying to get my people who listen to me for over the years to that. You need to let truth be the driving force in your life. Let righteousness be your first foot and your every intention, period. When you do that, your entire life changes, everybody. It all changes for you. It all changes. It all changes. It all changes. I have to say this before moving on. Al Sharpton, another fucking bend me over and expose my bare ass. And he is a puzzle. Because he looks like a pixie. He's not television ready. But there he is with a show. You guys have been with me, you know that I've questioned this before. How does he have a show on MSNBC? He was second only to Louis Farrakhan in the eyes of white people years ago. Certainly back in the 1980s and early 1990s. How does he have a show on MSNBC? How? He's not a model. He doesn't look like the Jedi. So that's not even... so that's not even... I can't even do it. Sometimes I do this thing where I'm like, but that's not even... But anyway, there he was. Sitting up there, allegedly interviewing Mike Bloomberg. It wasn't an interview. It was, let me sit here. And by the way, he looked so... Al Sharpton's a very ugly man, and he looked even worse. The lighting, it was hideous, y'all. It was really bad. Like, wherever he's at in his life, there's no way he can't look at that video and go, damn. It really is bad. But he is obviously been paid by fucking Bloomberg. Because another thing black bitch men do is they get very wide-eyed and very humble and moist in the booty when they're around rich white men. That's the truth. That's the truth. They will ride the fuck out the sack of a white rich man. Literally. That's the hard-ass truth. Period. But there he was. And never once challenged Bloomberg on anything. It wasn't journalistic at all. It was just, let's just set up the model so it looks like it's an interview, but it's really not. Since I was such a fucking disaster in the debate, and I'm trying to buy my way to the White House, and I don't really give a fuck about black people any goddamn way. Let's use you, Al, to just put me on your show that we don't know how the fuck you got it, unless you're CIA or FBI or a fucking Martian or some bullshit. And let's do that. And I'll have big ass Kareem or whatever the fuck he was sitting next to me, and he will fucking be my butt boy also. And also, incidentally, how are you worth $60 billion, everybody? And your profile looks exactly like a turtle. That's the truth. And you can't open your mouth more than a half inch because your teeth are fucking wooden and yellow and shit. For $60 billion, your grill should look like fucking Janet Jackson. And it doesn't. I can't. But again, Al Sharpton, another bitch-ass man. bitch-ass black man. Bitch-ass black male. Because we have to make this distinction. There are no men. Bitch-ass black male. Al Sharpton is a bitch-ass black male. Not a man. Not a man. And we question if he's a male. We question. We question. You see. We question. We question. We question. We won't really know. We have no evidence of this. You see. No evidence. Does he have children? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm busy. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, by my estimate, I'm probably not going to get to everything that I wanted to talk to in this video. Or talk about in this video. I knew this was going to be long, but I promised myself I wasn't going to do... I was going to try not to do the length that I did in the last one. And alas, some of the stuff is rantus, and I really thought that I would get a lot of that stuff in this video and then shift our tone in the next video and then onward, you know. I try not to oversaturate. I don't know if that's the word I want to use right now. But, you know, I do want to acknowledge, because somebody mentioned it in the comments, and I did see it in the media, about the death of B. Smith. As you guys know, I had done an extensive piece on her and her trifling ass husband. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's so sad. For a couple of reasons. You know, the first is that she was an African woman. She had worked hard and had attained a certain status in life. And you would hope that she would be able to live out the fruit of her labor. And that if she was going to be afflicted by something, that she could go through that in a way that was dignified and peaceful and without controversy and scandal and disloyalty and cheating. And a white heifer. You know, somebody said she looks like a man. She could be. You know, you don't know what people are nowadays. You don't know. 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 That's really a true statement. You just don't know. But you know, the second thing I wanted to say about it was, I did this long video here on the channel. I tell you guys all the time, and I especially say to new people, go and watch the body of my work. Go and watch the body of my work. You don't need to just wait for my next video, you know. And at the rate that I release videos, you have time to watch other stuff. And that would be absolutely beneficial, because I'm not just the sum total of one video. I am all of my work. I'm all of it. I'm all of it. And you need to expose yourself to all of it. And to that point, there's a video here on the channel that I did about the dangers of eating pork. And I showed and proved in that piece, unequivocally, that among the 75 diseases and ailments that are directly tied to eating pork, one of them, among them, is dementia and Alzheimer's. If you do an MRI of the brain of someone who eats pork, it looks like a little starry night. You see little white speckles all over. Those are parasites on the brain. Those are parasites on the brain. You should not go near pork. For y'all Christian folks, it's even in your scripture to not even touch its flesh, let alone eating it. You're not even supposed to touch it. This is in the scripture. And as I always tell you, how is it that I, a Muslim, can come and tell you your own scripture. I should not be able to walk into your house and tell you where you have your underwear and socks at, and I've never been in your house. Shouldn't be able to do it. It's kind of like Mrs. Doubtfire. Never. Your vagina Doubtfire, dear. When she first goes to the house of his ex-wife, I'm over it, and they're fixing tea, and she's like, "Ma, you know your way around the kitchen." Anyways, it's that, you know. This is Doubtfire. I can't. So this, this is one of the reasons, and they're never going to say that. They'll just make you think that Alzheimer's is just something that just came about, and we just don't know, and we have to donate to Alzheimer's, and we just have to donate, and we just have to. And no, we don't. What we have to know is the truth. Because I cite for you. You'll remember, back in the 1990s, that there was a case with Oprah Winfrey. She just mentioned on her show, the guy was up there talking about the beef industry. It wasn't her. He was just another guest. And the things he was telling her about beef, she was like, that has stopped me cold from eating another burger. You know, when she puts those hands up, the entire rotation of the earth goes back the other way. That's it. That it happens. She goes, well, that has stopped me cold from eating another burger. And beef stock fell 20% the next day. The beef industry said she'd done it on purpose. She had a big trial in Texas. She eventually won, but blah, blah, blah. But I mentioned that. I cite that case because that's how far they went. Instead of acknowledging that the way that the Muslim treats and slaughters the animal is the way that it makes it best for the animal and best for you to consume. The things that are prohibited for you, or that are permissible for you. And so that when you eat what is not permissible, you suffer. And obviously the pork industry, remember they had a big campaign many years ago, the new white meat, So they've rolled it out, and pork is in everything. It doesn't have to be a piece of bacon or a pork chop. It's the products and the byproducts of it in some of everything. That's why Muslims are reading labels on everything. I shared with you guys that I came out of the hospital after my accident in 2014, and one of the things that my doctor had prescribed was some laxatives to stave off any constipation. I'm regular, so I don't really, but they prescribe it, you go and get it, it's fine, whatever. But there it was, I was reading it. It's medicine, I still need to read it. And there it was. Gelatin. Never took a single one. And never had no problems. Pork is in everything. From toothpaste to soap to dish liquid to anything you're going to name. You got to read it. You got to read, you got to read, you got to read. And it would also be beneficial if you could just do a Google search now and say, what are the byproducts of pork? Because then it'll give you other names under which it's under. Because it's not going to say pork or gelatin all the time. There's other names that it will say. There's words I can't pronounce for you right now. And you need a lawyer to pronounce them. Ouch. But anyway, that will be helpful for you. This is one of the reasons why we have so much issue with dementia and Alzheimer's. That's just the damn truth. I'm not a doctor, but damn it, I'm a Muslim. And I'm a servant of the one who created me. And a student, most of all. So, that's very sad. Anyways, I also want to say, that I was going to talk about the Jussie Smollett thing in contrast that to Harvey Weinstein. Won't get into it. I always tell you, I never try to hold your audience any longer than I think I absolutely need to. Your time is precious, my people, and I respect you and I respect your time. I respect myself and I respect my time. No double standards with the Jedi. I should say this in closing, especially for new people who have not watched the body of work, and to remind my normal viewers, I'll say. The Jedi speaks from a place of truth first above all. And then love. And compassion and passion. Concern and obsession. Determination and frustration. Awareness and enlightenment. Those are the places from which I speak. I love you. And I am not concerned about style and tone and language and being diplomatic and hurting feelings and breaking a deal. I'm not concerned with that. We have one journey through life, and as a people, we are too far behind. You know, when they show up to a six-alarm fire or something, they don't sprinkle it. They give it everything. They're going at the walls with the axes. They're spraying the foam. They're coming in with the water. They've got 1,000 firefighters on it, and they mean business. Planes and helicopters are dropping water. It is a war zone. So are we. And I need you to keep that in mind when I'm speaking about us and to us and for us. Because it's always important for me to deliver an entire picture of anything. The big picture, I always say. So, I am PhD in white devilry. White supremacy, white evil, all of that. PhD. Alright, I'm a laureate. They want me on staff at Yale, Princeton, and Harvard, and I'm turning all their letters down. I'm turning it down. They want me. They all want me. And I was Dean of Students at Columbia, but that'll be in the book. It's nothing, and I shouldn't even, it's whatever. But it's also important for me to turn the burning mirror, I call it, on us. If you're always talking about the neighbor's kid, your kid always thinks they're perfect. Well, look what their kids do. Well, there he is out running in his diaper. Well, honey wrecked the car last night. They're towing the car into their driveway over there. Their kid wrecked the car again. Your kid is a total disaster, but you never turn your eye on your kid. I do. If you love anything or anyone, you got to be willing to tell the truth. You got to be willing to tell the truth. You just got to. You just have to. Go and put a piece of toilet paper somewhere on your body or on your shoe. Get a piece of gum or something. Go and put something in your teeth today. And do something with your hair or your outfit or your shirt or your tie or something off, and go around people that say love you and see who's going to tell you. Go put a piece of garlic in your mouth and just get up and start grinning and talking in people's face and blowing your breath. I know, See who's going to step forward and tell you, bruh, my sister, nah. You feel me? See who's going to do that. Test the love they say they have for you. Stop calling people that love you so much. See how many days go by before they call you. What is that song, Mariah? Butterfly. Blindly I imagine I could keep you under glass. Now I understand, to hold you I must open up my hands and watch you rise. And if you come back to me, you belong to me. Something like that. Oh, I love that. But it's that, you know. Test the love. Test it. Test it. Test it. But always know that anywhere that I exist and breathe, the switch is always hot with the Jedi for our people. And I will always continue, as long as I exist and breathe as an African person on the planet, to highlight and to chastise and to indict the enemy of our people, and indeed of civilization, but particularly for us, the enemy of our people, I will do that constantly and passionately and thoroughly. But I will also always tell you the truth and fan the stench of us in your face and go, smell that, smell that, smell that. It's kind of like, when they put the puppy's nose in the poop and go, so they learn, like, you got to go a little bit outside. It's that. It's that. It's the only way that I know. It's who I am. And I don't know any way to be artificial in my life. I'm very proud about that. And that is a gift that I had to learn into, with self-discovery, and you have to see society, you have to grow. Some things you have to just learn as you live. My grandmother would say, sometimes you just if you just live, she'd say, if you just live, if you just live. And so as I matured in life and got smarter and had more experiences and saw more of humanity, I began to understand the difference in myself and most of humanity, And I realized there's a lot of things I'm just not burdened by, And among them is inauthenticity. That's not my burden. I have no problem being authentic and absolutely unpopular. I don't care. Because the truth is the thing that I'm responsible to. The truth is synonymous with the divine. And he is the only thing and the only one that I fear and submit to. I love you.